Veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan, they're facing unprecedented levels of post-traumatic stress disorder. An organization to help these vets called Paws of War, it just opened a chapter right here in the Hudson Valley. And our fellow senior political producer, Caryn McBride, she spoke to the guy who heads it all up. Caryn?
Thanks, Richard. Charles Jackson is a Newburgh police officer, a combat veteran, and he's also a dog trainer. Now, he's training Geronimo, a year-old German Shepherd who was a rescue dog, and he's hoping Geronimo will be placed with a veteran next month. I recently spoke with Jackson, and of course Geronimo, at his home in Highland.
You're a combat veteran. You've seen this firsthand. You've been on the front lines. Tell us what it's really like for these men and women, both the emotional stress of war, but then also that very difficult, I would imagine, transition back to civilian life.
You know, one of the most difficult things is when you're in that environment, you know, it's completely foreign to you. No matter how many of your friends that you have with you, you are kind of always switched on. Even if you have some downtime to kind of relax, there's still that overlaying, you know, apprehension of what could possibly happen. So when, you know, you're in that state for so long, it's hard to transition out of it. And, you know, that's one of the benefits of having a service dog is they can be task trained to help alleviate that.
And that's what's so amazing about this program is it seems to be a win-win both for the veterans and for the dogs. And these dogs are coming in and helping with everyday parts of their lives, as you said, maybe even communicating, maybe even getting a good night's sleep. And talk about where the dogs come from. Some of these dogs come from shelters.
Yes, yes. You know, and that was one of the goals of the program was, you know, getting these dogs from these kill shelters, getting them out of there, you know, assessing them, see, you know, try to find them and place them in, you know, just a regular family. But then there's sometimes, you know, a dog that you'll see that kind of might have that right quality that you're like, you know what, this might, you know, he might benefit somebody. As hopefully word spreads about the organization, more veterans will start applying. They realize, I know a lot of them are like, oh, I wish I could have one, but, you know, I can't. You know, that I don't know how I'm going to afford it. Well, these dogs, we train them, we give it to them for free.
There's no cost.
There's no cost to the veteran whatsoever.
Could you tell us about some of the veterans that might have benefited from this program, what you've seen?
The last dog that we did, Miguel Torres, it was very nice actually. The Giants, New York Giants organization, in conjunction with Paws of War, and you know, they allowed us to do the handover during a Giants game. Oh. You know, right on the field. So, you know, one of the benefits that it had for Miguel was that, you know, he didn't really like people. You know, he didn't like to go grocery shopping. He didn't like to go out of his house. So when he got the dog, he felt more comfortable because he always knew he had somebody with him. And it kind of served a dual purpose. You know, the people don't focus on me so much. They focus on the dog. They always want to ask questions about the dog. And that gets me out in public, gets me used to being around people again. And it's a slow process, but, you know, it allowed him, even just, you know, Miguel knowing that he was going to get the dog, he was in a packed stadium full of, you know, screaming football fans. And, you know, he handled it great, but he knew, you know, it gave him a sense of purpose.
And you were talking before about some of the benefits, some of the ways that the dogs help the veterans, and social skills seems to be a really important part of that.
Absolutely. A lot of veterans that have PTSD, they kind of feel lost. They don't have, you know, they want to get better. They don't really know what's going on. They don't have that kind of lifeline. And you know, we hope that the dogs become that lifeline for them, kind of, you know, get them out in public, you know, let them interact with people.
So you could say the service dogs are really a vet's best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one of the things we say, one of the mottos for the organization is you help both ends of the leash.
This is all private donations. This is not from government funding, but would you hope someday that this program could be expanded and the government could get involved?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, they do provide service dogs for other things if you are, unfortunately lose a limb or, but for post-traumatic stress, they're still going through the trials for that. So hopefully they can, they don't take too long and they can come to the realization that, yes, this is a benefit for the veteran, and it benefits everything. A lot of these veterans come home, they're married, have families, it affects their whole life and everything about it. The spouse, the kids, they kind of get their veteran back.
And so we're hearing all about this amazing program and the things that you do, and now we get to meet your latest trainee, Geronimo.
Yes, this is Geronimo. He is a year old, and so he's still pretty much a puppy. As you can see, he has very high energy. But the most important thing is he wants to please.
You work with the dog so closely, and he's like part of your family. Is it difficult when Geronimo is going to leave?
It's always difficult, but in the back of my mind, I always keep I always have the knowledge that it's for a purpose.
Why is this so important?
Everybody in the organization, it's an all-volunteer organization. Unfortunately, most of the programs like this are all volunteer. It is very difficult to balance your, home life, your work life, and your volunteer life. But I think if the cause is good enough, you find the time.
Well, as you can see, Rich, it's really a great organization, and they're always looking for volunteers, and they do need financial support.
And that, again, that site that we just showed you, the way to bring that help. Thank you very much, Caryn. When we come back, everyone, we'll have your Hudson Valley headlines. Please stay with us.